Hello, my name is Pavel and welcome back to my channel. This feels so weird because if you've not been following my channel for the last few weeks or even like almost 2 months, I have been in France and I have not been in Ireland for those 2 months basically, and I'm back in Ireland and I'm filming a video where I sit down and speak about a movie, and this feels so weird. Like genuinely, it just feels strange. It doesn't even feel like I went to France for like 6-7 weeks and I'm back, and it just all felt like a big fever dream. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you can watch the vlogs on my channel. But this video is not about France. This video is about me watching the second Blair Witch Project movie, because apparently, who knew there was a second Blair Witch movie? I made a massive list of videos I wanted to make, and this like title has been on my list for months, and I completely forgot about it. And I came back from France and I was like, oh, what video will I make? What's going to be the first movie that I watch? What is it going to be? And it's going to be Blair Witch Project 2, because I just don't like myself and I kind of want to torture myself for 90 minutes. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. If you do not know, the Blair Witch Project is a monumental movie in POV horror movies. It's one of those movies that kind of like inspired everything in that subgenre. It was a cult classic. It is a cult classic and it is adored by everybody. I've spoken about this movie many a times, and if you do not know, I absolutely adore POV horror. So this is kind of like, this video feels personal because I adore these type of movies, and I'm going to be disappointed. I haven't even watched this movie yet, but I just know. I know in here, if you not see, I'm putting in my heart, I know down in here, I'm going to be absolutely disappointed. And like, the fact that I've never heard about this movie is a big red flag. And also, whenever I was doing a little bit of research, I saw that this got a 4.0 on IMDb, which is, if this is how the video is going to go, I am curious. I'm curious why the fuck they made this, because I know they did that with American Psycho as well, didn't they? They like made a second one or something like, I don't even know. I just know that this is going to be awful. In the Blair Witch Project, it's kind of like atmospheric horror. Very little happens, and I absolutely love that. It's a super short movie, and it's not about like what you see on the screen. It's just basically feeling paranoid and, you know, like questioning the what ifs. And I just absolutely adored it. I remember watching when I was like 15 years old or even 14, I don't remember. And it had such a huge impact on me. And this is why, again, I think this is going to be really personal for me. So what are my expectations for the second Blair Witch Project movie? I don't even know why it hurts me to even say that, but my expectations are it's going to be shit. I have a funny feeling they're not going to like use POV entirely throughout the movie, which already like makes me feel so sad. And I feel like it's going to be short. I feel like it's just going to be like a generic, just a generic 2000s movie with a little bit of horror, and they're just going to use the Blair Witch title, and that's all it's going to be. Those are my expectations. I'm going to go watch the second Blair Witch movie, and I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to tell you what I think about the second Blair Witch movie. Blair Witch Project. Is it Blair Witch 2? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to go watch the movie, and I'll see you after. Bye.
Truth is scarier than fiction.
A brutal murder in the Black Hills discovered today. In the past year, the Black Hills area has been overrun with movie fans wanting to get a glimpse of where the Blair Witch Project...
Okay, hello. I have just finished watching Blair Witch Project 2, and I wish I just never watched that, because that was so fucking boring. I kind of thought it'd be a little bit entertaining. Like something in this movie would have kept me entertained entirely throughout the movie, but no. About an hour in, I was like, I'm done. I cannot watch it anymore. I did finish it, but I finished it with a lot of pain, because that was so tedious and so like boring to watch. Nothing, and I mean nothing, happens in that movie. I'm going to read you the synopsis and I'm going to give you my review, but if you cannot tell from my initial reactions, I did not like that movie at all, and I don't know if I'm just being a massive hater, but that was just not good at all. That was not a good movie. Sorry. A group of college friends embark on the Blair Witch Hunt tour and land up in Rustin Parr's house. When they wake up the next morning, they remember no details of the previous night. A little bit of a spoiler, you know that the fact that I just mentioned that there was a night and they don't remember everything. You know, if you saw that in a movie, you'd be like, oh, I wonder maybe something like really like supernatural, something witch related happened, and no, that's not what happened. They all just got kind of fucked and were all speaking really pretentiously, and we're like, what if like the Bermuda Triangle and just talk like this for like 20 minutes, and at the very end of the movie turns out that they everything that they remembered from the night that happened, you know, like everything that happened was just a lie, and something else entirely happened because they were all fucked out of their minds. And yeah, that's the entire movie spoiled for you there, and I'm sorry if I spoiled it, but that was just really painful and really tedious to watch. Like, I did not enjoy that at all, but I will go through my list. And I know what I just told you there is like a little bit of, it's not entirely what happens in the movie, but it's just not good. It's not good at all. The first thing, whenever the movie starts, I was like, ooh, I kind of like this, because it was a reaction by, I think, like people in America just to the like to Blair Witch, like the cultural impact it had on society, how impactful it was. And I absolutely loved it because we had like TV clips, just a bit of everything. And I was like, oh, maybe this movie will be okay. And just straight from there, we have like early 2000s vibe. We have like this metal music playing, and you meet the cast, and the cast are so fucking annoying. We have like this emo girl that's able to like predict things. We have this couple that feel like they shouldn't even be there. Why the fuck is this couple there? There's absolutely no need for them. They're having a kid and they're really, really awkward. And then there's a ginger girl. I don't remember any other names. And I think that's everybody. Oh, yes, it is. And there's the guy who's kind of like in charge of the Blair Witch hunt, and he's like fascinated about this, but he's also kind of just making money from the Blair Witch, you know, like the significance of it. He's selling dirt, sticks and shit like that, and it is the weirdest cast ever. But we meet the emo girl by we walk into a graveyard, and this emo girl is just laying there, and she's like, oh, I'm just waiting, I'm just like recharging or something like that. I don't even remember, because I watched this 10 minutes ago and I do not even remember what she said, because she's so corny. Every character in this movie is so corny, they cannot act, and the relationship together just absolutely, I'm hitting my camera because it's actually making me frustrated. All the relationships are just absolutely brutal. But you know what, I like the intro, I'll give you that. But the one thing that I did not like, and the one thing that I predicted and I was right about, is the fact that there's absolutely no POV in this. Okay, that's a little bit of a lie. There's a little bit of POV, but every time we get a little bit of POV, it is blue. For some reason, the POV is blue, and I do not understand why. Is it just a camera? And also, why the fuck is your POV such high quality? This movie is shot as a normal movie. The entire, like, thing, you know, the thing about Blair Witch is that it's like a really low budget, shitty looking POV horror movie. This movie is not that. You cannot recreate the Blair Witch Project by shooting it on a really high-end camera in good quality. It just doesn't work. And if you use a completely different form, it just doesn't work. You're not Blair Witch Project. You're a shitty horror movie from the early 2000s, and you're using the Blair Witch name. That's what this movie is. That should be the entire title for this movie. This is not Blair Witch Project, but we're just titling that, and we're just going to be using it for money and shit like that. So it was not good. It was not good. Okay, it started off as a good idea. Like, they want to venture out into the woods and maybe like find the truth about the Blair Witch Project, like what actually happened, and that just does not happen. It just, there's a montage of people just getting drunk. Why is there a montage in a horror movie? And that brings me to the next point. This isn't a horror movie. Maybe the last like 20 minutes, there are some scenes and some things that are a little bit scary, but the rest of this movie is not a horror movie. Like, it takes like 40 to 50 minutes to see something creepy out of the 90 minutes. And the first creepy thing you see is like this girl running around, and it looks like something that I could edit into this video, like a green, like it's awful. It looks super, super bad. And the one thing, like, I think I'm passionate about this because it's just really disappointing. Like, I feel like you had such an opportunity. Like, this movie did well. It had like, wait, let me tell you, it had a $15 million budget, and it made almost 50 million on the box office. You had such a big audience because obviously the first Blair Witch Project had such a hold on society. You could have done something so great with this movie, but you didn't. You just made something very mid. That's all this movie was. It was something absolutely mid. So anyway, in the story, they're on this hunt, and then some creepy shit happens, and they're like, oh my god, what's actually going on? But also, in the 90 minutes, nothing happens. They go to this guy's like lair, you know, the guy who's in charge of all this. They go to his lair, and they're trying to figure everything out by watching the cameras, and it's just like really low quality shots of like some naked people running around, and they're like, whoa, maybe we're all kind of like possessed, or maybe the witches are taking a toll on us. And then it turns out in the end they were actually just killing people and causing an absolute madness. And they didn't realize, because they were not themselves, you know, their brains were taken over. And it's just awful. It's not good at all. And this movie tries to be like really dark, like very emo, like very gothic or something like that. And it's just really cringy because the dialogue in this movie between the characters and just the quotes, like talking about like energy and like just death, it's just really cringy, especially when you have like a guy that is like your most stock standard person from the early 2000s talking about this. It makes no sense. I don't know, it's just a corny movie, and the editing in this movie is so strange as well. Like for the first 20 minutes it's just quick jump cuts, then we have like the pace speeds up, like we have like a montage that's going by really quick with like heavy metal music playing over, and then it slows down. It's all over the place, probably as all over the place as this review is, but I just feel like I have a lot to get off my chest because of this movie. There's one thing actually in this movie that I really enjoyed, is that we have, you know, like the first group of the Blair Witch Hunters, and then we have another group, and they both meet and they're like, yo, what are you doing here? And it's bad because that's like the only thing that I really remember, but I found funny in this movie. And why am I finding this movie funny? It's meant to be a horror movie. It's not a comedy. I do not understand. It's so weird. Oh, and also, you know the way I just mentioned that there's very little horror in this, there are 2 times where something a little bit gruesome happens. We have a little bit of body horror, just or even horror. I don't want to spoil it in case you watch it, but guess what happens those 2 times? Just guess. Go for it. No, guess. Go. What do you think happens? Yes, you're right. It was just a dream. 2 of those times it was just a dream, but then at the end you realize it wasn't a dream. It's actually what happened, but they were kind of like all dreaming and tripping and all this sort of stuff. It is not good. It is just, what the fuck? What is this movie? If you want to go watch it, watch it. Am I going to recommend it? Absolutely not. Was this review absolutely all over the place? Yes, but this is my first video back. Give me a break. And I feel like this was a good movie to start with, but I'm also like so disappointed, but I'm also not surprised. I sound like a dad who's just like received like something from their child, some bad news, and they're like, I'm not upset, I'm just disappointed. That's exactly how I feel towards Blair Witch Project 2. I'm just disappointed. So I think I'm gonna end it there. I do not have anything else to say. I feel like I could have described everything that happened throughout the movie better, but there's not much to say. There really isn't. The story is so boring. It is so repetitive. Very little happens, and that's it. It is what it is. Have you watched the Blair Witch Project 2? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.